So, like you heard her say, I'm a writer, I'm a journalist. This is the first time I'm actually giving a talk. So, bear with me. There are many different types of abuse. We've heard speakers speak of domestic violence, but in a marriage, there can be many different types of abuse. There's mental harassment, there is emotional abuse, there's gaslighting. But basically, you know that something's very, very wrong when you don't feel safe with your spouse anymore. Now, I got married when I was in my early 20s, though I look like a 12-year-old now, but I'm speaking from experience. Against my family's wishes, I was young and stupid, influenced by rom-coms and all of that stuff. But soon after the wedding, things started to change. Don't go here, don't talk to this one, don't do that, don't wear this, all kinds of restrictions. And one day during a confrontation, my ex-husband raised his hands to hit me. I was usually timid around him, but that day, I don't know from where I got the courage to speak up and tell him that if you hurt me, I'm going to drag you to the police station. So he didn't. After that, it was an ordeal, and I'm going to talk to everyone here about 8 things I learned going through this entire thing. So the first thing is financial independence. I regretted leaving my job after I got married. I don't think you should leave your job or compromise on your financial independence for anyone or anything. I read this article once in an online blog about how every girl should have a fuck off fund where you save money and you have a fund so that you don't need to rely on your partner. You don't have to sacrifice your dignity or your sanity to be stuck in a relationship that is just not working. The next thing is the concept of being a good wife. Now, the more we usually take up this project of a man, a rogue, and try to civilize him, like in George of the Jungle, because like that's what is romantic, that's the idea we've been fed. But don't believe these lies. It's all just patriarchal crap. You don't have to be ever sacrificing, you don't have to be ever forgiving, you don't have to be a saint, because you're not a saint, you're a person. You have whims, you have dreams, you have ambition, you have feelings, and you are a person. You don't need to crush all of that within you just for anyone. That's not done. Number 3 is, what about the kids? Many women stay back in a relationship because they don't know what's going to happen with their kids. But think about this. If you're in a relationship and your husband is beating you almost every day, you're fighting, you're screaming, you're abusing each other, how is this helpful to the kids? You have to put a stop to it, because you don't want your daughter to grow up being complicit with this kind of behavior. Or you don't want your son to grow up to be a wife beater either. Number 4, you have to stop the chain reaction. Now, in-laws can be trouble, right? Like, everyone has had that bit. But that comes from a place where probably a woman is treated so badly by her mother-in-law that it's kind of a revenge for her to take it out on her daughter-in-law, and then that's like a chain reaction. In fact, I had a mother-in-law once tell me that, oh, my mother-in-law treated me so badly, and that is why I treat my daughter-in-law like this. At least I don't treat her as badly as my mother-in-law treated me. But, I mean, you're being miserable. And when you're miserable, you're making other people around you miserable. So, you have to You have to stop that chain reaction with yourself. And obviously, since you and your mother-in-law you are from different generations, so you don't really have much common ground between y'all. But the one thing you do have in common is that both of y'all are women. Y'all know what society expects of you. You know how unfair it can be sometimes. So you have to support each other, just as women. Now, the fifth thing that is really underrated is therapy. You must consider going to therapy, because when you're going through so much stress, it can be really, really difficult. People don't want to talk about it. My friends didn't want to talk about it because they wanted to tread lightly. I had nobody to talk about it to, and it was just getting too much for me inside. So I went to a doctor's clinic. I spoke about it. I got medication even, and I learned how to deal with all the stress and anxiety I was going through. So that's what you need to consider. You need to consider going to therapy, because that can really make a difference. Next is to not let anyone shame you. Many of my friends, they knew me very closely. They knew what I was going through and everything. I was really surprised when they told me, quit fooling around and go back to your husband's house. It's enough. You taught him a lesson or whatever. But that was not what I was doing, They did not really see the kind of pain that I was in. Nobody wants to talk about it because it's really sensitive and nobody wants to get involved, and no matter how close you think people have been. Even my lawyer, I had hired him for the divorce. I was paying him his fees. Even he was asking me weird questions, trying to make me feel awkward. I mean, like, that is the mindset that you're filing for a divorce, you're a failure. No, that's not it. It's not only a woman's job to save the marriage. I mean, yes, you do make a vow to each other. You do say till death do us apart and all of that. But then it's a part of your vows. It's not the only vow you make. You also make the vow to love and honor each other before you make this one. And the seventh one is to surround yourself with good vibes. Like I said, I married this man against my family's wishes and all of that. And I was really scared to tell them what a mess I had found myself in when I had filed for divorce. I had not told them at all. But surprisingly, when I did tell them, they were supportive. There were a very few people, some of my colleagues, who stood with me, who pulled me through this. My brothers pulled me through this. He even took me on a short trip to kind of, just help me deal with whatever I was dealing and all of that. So there are people who will surprise you, people that you think that no, they won't, and these are the people you should hide this from. They are the ones who will actually surprise you and stand up in support. But so tell your parents as well. Quite often we underestimate our parents, thinking that they will not understand, but they might surprise you and they might really understand. And if you can't tell your parents, or if you've told them and they still don't support you, tell your friends. If your friends still don't support you, then you can always get in touch with this group right here. I mean, some of us have gone through it, some of us are going through it, and I can't stress enough on the fact that we as women have to be there for each other. The final thing that I want to share with you, the final point, is to close this chapter of your life and start a new one. Now, when you go through a divorce, you're not going to go back in time and forget everything that ever happened, right? There are unfortunate things and unpleasant things that have happened to you, and it's not going to just be gone from your memory. You have to accept that. Removing stigma from divorce starts by accepting the fact that you did have it. Stop hiding from it, you have scars, but instead of hiding them, you wear them like a warrior, because that is what you have, that is what you are. That is what this ordeal has made you. You need to be open to a new chapter, to new possibilities, to new friendships, to new opportunities, to new love, perhaps even. Last October, I got married to my best friend who saw me through my darkest times. And when he first proposed, I got shit scared and I ran away to a friend's house in Mumbai. I refused to talk to him and all of that. But we took it one day at a time. And I realized that I had found this man who treats me like an equal, you know, who discusses work with me, who cooks with me, who makes decisions with me instead of for me, you know. So today, I think that if I hadn't had the courage to get that divorce, to raise my voice in that, you know, one split second, to actually embrace the courage that came upon me, I don't think I would have still been stuck in that unhappy marriage, living that miserable life, probably making everybody else miserable too. But I took that chance, and I'm so thankful that today I get to wake up every day next to the love of my life, go and do the job that I love, and live the life I deserve. Thank you.